Hi teachers, I'm Chenny and I'm a mathematician at the ASD ANU CoLab, a collaboration between the Australian National University and Australian Signals Directorate. I'm really interested in how computers send and store information, in particular how they manage to overcome noise and interference to deliver us messages clear and ungarbled. Today I'm going to show you a Mathemagic trick and a game that you can use with your students to demonstrate how computers can detect and correct errors in our files and messages. I've printed 3 pages of the flip cards onto light cardboard and cut them out to make a set of 36 cards. First, I'm going to get a volunteer to lay out 25 of the cards in a 5x5 grid while I hang on to the other 11 myself. The volunteer can choose whether to put each card face up or down. Then, to make it harder, I'm going to use my remaining 11 cards to add another row and column to the grid. Now, I'll ask a volunteer to flip one of the cards while I cover my eyes. Finally, for the trick, I'm able to work out which card was flipped. What's going on here? Am I psychic? Of course not. When I told you I was making the trick harder by laying out an extra row and column of cards, I was actually giving myself important clues. See, I carefully chose to lay each card so that each row and each column had an even number of face-up cards. That card is called a parity card, and we say that each row and column has even parity. I like to repeat this trick with the class several times, prompting the students to work out how I'm doing it. Then I split them into pairs and let them try it themselves. Once they have the hang of it, they could investigate whether it works for any size square, whether it would work in a rectangle, and whether it would work with odd parity instead of even. So what has this got to do with computers? Well, computers transmit and store information in binary, that is, ones and zeros. It's like the face-up cards representing 1 and the face-down cards representing 0. However, sometimes errors can creep in and change a 0 to a 1 or vice versa. This isn't usually due to a student flipping them, but could be background noise, network faults, or even cosmic rays. Parity checking is one way of detecting such errors. The application of this in communications can be illustrated with a game of telephone. Students will send to a friend a message that's been converted to binary using ASCII, a very common method of encoding text. But the message will be intercepted along the way and an error introduced. For this game, each student will need an ASCII table, a binary telephone worksheet, a laminated binary telephone grid, and a whiteboard marker. Split your students into groups of at least 3. Each student is going to come up with a message that is 7 characters long and write it on the binary telephone worksheet. For example, my message is I heart math. Then they'll convert this to binary using the ASCII table and place the message in the worksheet grid. Then they'll add a parity bit to each row and column. Now that they've worked out the parity checked binary code, they'll copy all the binary onto the laminated sheet. Then pass the sheet to the left so that all the students are passing in a circle. Each student changes a bit on the sheet they've received. They then pass to the left again. The recipient identifies the error and decodes the message. Have a think about this method. How many errors could it detect? Would it matter where those errors were? As long as multiple errors don't appear in the same row or column, it should be detectable. I like to let students discover this for themselves by playing the game over and over, passing through increasing numbers of error inserters. There are many different error detection and correction codes out there, some more powerful than others. One is in the International Standard Book numbers that you can find on the back of all your books. Students can explore this in this worksheet. Can your students come up with an error correcting code themselves?